Hello, welcome to the show, guys. This is your X Files. As I always say, the truth is always out there. My name is Sham. I'm going to talk today about a particular book, 1984. I had some early conversation with some of the community members, and I want to talk about this because this book talks about complete totalitarianism, whatever they call it, right? And complete like surveillance and erosion of trust and everything. Like it's just unbelievable. So I wanted to talk about that and kind of find some connections. You're right, Jubair. Nice to see you. I wanted to actually, Jubair, I just not long ago I just saw your mom. So anyway, I visited my mom's house, so I just saw Jubair there, Jubair's mom there. Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna leave that family attachment aside, right? So anyway, let's talk about this. So I want to talk about George Orwell, right? Also his main name, that's his pseudonym. George Orwell is his pseudonym. His main name is Eric Arthur Blair, right? From Britain. In fact, he was actually born in Bengal. A lot of people don't know this, but anyway, he was born in Bengal. But I want to talk about his book, 1984, because it's a fascinating book, right? And it's a sci-fi, right? It's a sci-fi novel where he's talking about this dystopian future where we have something called the Big Brother, right? Nobody knows if they're real or not, who has absolute control, right, over everything, even up to their thoughts. So people are not even allowed to think, because if you do, you get punished, right? To the point where you could just vanish, right? You could just vanish. So people, there are different tiers, like you become insignificant if you even think. So if you're part of the system, you're fine. If you're not part of the system, you have a problem. So I want to talk about this because, you know, one of the things that I want to talk about with obviously what George Orwell envisioned in that book, complete fantasy, right? Complete sci-fi. That's absolutely fine. I don't have a problem with that. But we have a bit of a problem right now with, especially with the central bank digital currencies, the CBDCs and the centralized stable coins like RLUSD, which is a massive hype right now. And I have published a few bits and bobs on Discord regarding XRP and stable coins, and even which other companies are currently part of this whole ISO 2022, all right? Yeah, 120022, whatever they call it, right? I kind of left a few bits and bobs there. So I want to talk about all of these things, and especially like the emerging technologies, the ups and downs, the pros and cons. Like, of course, we need to talk about this because end of the day, we're in crypto. Ben Murphy says, ho, ho, hi, hi. Nice. Hi, hi to you, my brother. So I want to talk about this because, you know, as we go through this cycle and obviously with the crypto market, and I would give you guys a little update regarding the current market structure that I see. I see Alex 2014. Hi, nice to see you. Yep, carry on doing high, no problem. All right. Okay, everyone's doing high. Awesome. No worries. Carry on. So we've clearly got a bunch of trolls, and that's fine. No problem if that's what you want to do. Right. I subbed you. Bulwark says I subbed you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Right, let's talk about this anyway, right? Okay, I'm gonna go back to the chats in a bit. I see Silent here. Salam, my brother. Nice to see you. I see Magicos. Hi, nice to see you. I see Malik Shabazz. When did you get out again? I don't know. Was I in? I don't know. Anyway, I see Mook. Sinha says hi as well. Hi. Everybody, hi, no problem. So I'm going to get to the chats in a bit, right? So let's carry on with this, right? So one of the things that I want to talk about is obviously as we progress through this entire crypto cycle, and you know, since like 2012, right, we've been in like the first bull run 2012 and then the second one 2017, right, and then we continue. So if we talk about it that way, right, so we've had this new 4-year cycle since the 2017. We've had this 4-year cycle continuously come up, and right now we're in this particular moment of this whole industry where we have had the floodgates open for the institutions to come in, and through that many other things come in. And I'm looking at crypto in a complete different light right now, because there was a time when I saw decentralization. That's all I saw with Bitcoin and everything. All I saw was decentralized, right? So now we can own our own bank. We can save our own money. Whatever funds we have, it's ours, right? We have the complete ownership. We don't need to rely on another third person to hold it for us and account for that, right? So it kind of took away a lot of the risk. So that means any risk I have now is up to me. You know what I mean? So that's the kind of stuff we saw. Of course, over time, since 2017 and since the interest started kicking in, we've noticed that more and more institutions are coming on board, and we're getting a little bit more and more centralized with various regulations and whatnot, right? And of course, we've gone a long way. Like, we've come a long way, guys. Think about it. We're on our third major cycle right now, because I have to say it's a major cycle because of the number of coins we have, the number of projects we have, the number of interests we have, right? But along this whole decentralization process and this whole crypto bubble, like some people call it, and the hype phase that we go through, we've kind of forgotten that, hold on, we're supposed to be decentralized, right? And we've kind of unnoticedly, so we didn't even notice it, right? We didn't even notice the fact that many of the new projects that have been coming ever since Bitcoin was created, right, they have been backed by institutions like venture capital and whatnot, right? So they've been backed by those things, and I'm seeing control being taken away. So right under our nose, control is being taken away. So that for me became something like, hold on, I got to talk about this, right? And I did do a live stream yesterday, which was very heated live stream yesterday, especially talking about XRP. Today, I'm not talking about XRP in general. I'm talking about everything, but I'm not being, unfriendly. I'm not having a go at anybody today. I just want you guys to understand and open your minds and see what could be the implications if we don't actually wake up and understand that. Hold on, guys. All right. As much as we like some of these projects, are these projects actually doing anything for the people? And where's the connection, right, to the 1984 book? I really want to talk about that. So one of the things I want to talk about is, like, for example, privacy, right? So obviously cryptocurrency gives us some form of a crypto privacy. Obviously on the blockchain, everything's open. It's an open public ledger. People can go and see how much you own and whatnot. If they know who you are, then they know how much balance you have, right? And all of that is already there. Part of that was a beautiful thing about the blockchain, right? Where anybody could see. It's a public ledger. And we had some form of privacy. But now it seems like as we go into certain exchanges, certain banks, they're having control over us, right? They're having control over us. They're like, you can't spend more than this. Like, there was a brother, he had he had $5,000 or $6,000 worth of crypto in a particular exchange. Let's put it this way. But the exchange decided they're not going to be operating in the UK, which is fine, right? So he was using a VPN to basically go and do his transaction. He's tried to transfer his funds over from that exchange to another exchange, right? That actually allows him to operate from UK. All of a sudden, the exchange is like, oh no, you got to send us KYC, you got to do, and it's already done, right? So now he has to do all of that all over again to prove he owns that fund, to the point where they're messing him around and they're basically not giving his funds, right? So he can't transfer it. Every time he tries to do a transfer, they reverse it back. Is that what we asked for? So basically his funds are now being controlled by somebody else, not your keys, not your coins, right? So that's where we've gone. So that's part of his privacy, part of his right of ownership has gone. Do you know what I mean? That's been taken away from him, and that's not really nice, right? So when we start looking at these kind of stuff, we have to also look at everything else that's happening in the market, right? Especially with all these institutions coming in. What kind of implications do they have on us? We're looking at this, right? So obviously, let me just kind of set the stage with George Orwell. So George Orwell, his world is dominated by a totalitarian super state. All right, he talks about Oceania, right? Oceania, Eurasia, and East Asia. Right, this segment, like, you got Europe in one side, the entire Europe as one. You've got UK, USA, and all of that, and another side. I see serial designation X. Oh, hello, hi, nice to see you. And you've got East Asia on the other side. If we look at current situation on the globe, we do see these warring factions, right? And pretty much the world is divided, like in 3 or 4. It's kind of divided in 3, 4, which is kind of sad because this guy actually wrote about it. Of course, during the time when he wrote about it, I think he started writing somewhere around 1946 or something, and he published it in 1949 or something. This was just after World War I and 2. So obviously he's seen quite a bit. He has already seen that segregation. So he kind of filtered that into the book as well, a little bit of that into the book. But he was talking about how the future would be a big brother state, right? Because maybe he saw something that we didn't. So that's what I want to talk about, right? So obviously he's talking about whether how the government, right, Oceania, so Oceania is part of London, so he's kind of based in London, and he's saying, look, in Oceania the entire state is under surveillance, right? There's propaganda, there's psychological manipulation, right? There's the party doesn't monitor what you do, it controls what you think about that. It doesn't even monitor what you do, it controls what you think or how you think, right? For example, if it says to you 2 + 2 is 5, then you have to believe 2 + 2 is 5, even though all logic dictates it's not, right? And if you disagree, then basically you just vanish. This is what the book is telling us, right? And I'm fascinated by the book, right? To the point where the book even says how his particular job, right? So his particular job is he works in the what's it called? Hold on, I've got some things there. What does he work? He works in, right, and I'll tell you this quickly, right? So where he works, because my mind is not really in my place, right? So let me just tell you where he works, right? So um, he works in the truth, something of the truth. Hold on. Sorry, we spoke about it today earlier on. And I kind of forgot, right? Where did he? Wait, somebody tell me, where did he spoke? Desi Track, also my brother. Let's talk about this, right? Sorry, I got a whole bunch of notes there, so that's why I'm kind of just going through them. Anyway, he works for the Ministry of Truth. Come to me, right? Ministry of Truth, right? So he works for the Ministry of Truth, and the Ministry of Truth's job is to wipe history and write it as they want and present it as the truth. So obviously this guy now starts to despise them. It's like, hold on, I'm seeing these things being erased. I'm seeing how history is being erased and a fresh new history is given to people, and people are made to believe that that's the real history, right? You know, it could be anything, but tomorrow if they say this is what it is, you have to believe that and you have to fall in line and do this, right? So this is what we see, right? So that's a problem. And you know, he kind of tries to make us understand that, look guys, we're moving toward that future, and all I'm seeing is how close we are. If not, we're already achieving exactly what he was talking about. So all of these control, right? So now we're coming to a situation where even money's evolved, right? So during his time money was different, but we've evolved with finance and money and crypto, obviously, right? We've evolved so much, right? That we've come to the point where, you know, we've had digital USD and XYZ, right? And, you know, like cryptocurrencies and whatnot. So of course we have a whole separate financial system to the mainline financial system, and of course they're not happy about it. So we've come to a situation where, you know, now they're talking about CBDCs, and we know all the drama. I saw a lot of you guys know about the drama in CBDCs, right? So CBDC, one of the biggest problems that a lot of people have kind of voiced and said, look, guys, here's a problem, right? Are you going to be tracking us? Are you going to be controlling what we do? Are you going to start doing some social credit system? Are you going to have the ability to pause us? What's going on? Is there going to be one system for everybody that unifies everyone? Or is there going to be two different systems, one for the enterprises and one for us? Is there going to be two? So these are all in the question, right? So everyone's asked these questions. Of course, we don't have any clarification yet. All we know, there's a CBDC coming, right? And we know money is already digital, but they're just now trying to put it on the blockchain. And of course, they're fascinated. By the way, they love the institutions and all the banks and all the central banks and everything around the globe, politicians, everybody. They love the blockchain, right? They love the blockchain. But the question is the blockchain going to be private or is it going to be public for us, right? Or is there going to be two different blockchains? We don't know. So we're going to find out. However, as we move along, right, I've kind of talked about a few bits and bobs today as well. I said, look, there's like with the RLUSD and a few other USDs that are coming out. Even Cardano's looking to do their own USD. There's another one, I think they did, I think Celo or Celo, something called like that. They done something as well. So there's a few other USDs. It's not just RLUSD. So I'm not picking on any single one. I'm not picking on XRP, but it is the biggest one that is connected to most of the banks. Right, that's the one thing that I'm picking on this, and it has so much funding for that RLUSD. That means it's actually backed by $1 to $1. It's actually backed by $1 to $1, and there's so much funding out there that it's too centralized. You know, when you give all the control to one company, it becomes centralized. Then we have to start asking the question: does that impact us in the long run, right? Would they have the ability to freeze our funds or decide what we do? Are we going to become like China with the social credit system, where if you don't fall in line and do what we want to do, like the way George Orwell presents his story, right? Are we going to actually become that kind of a society, this kind of a dystopian society where, you know, you don't have to fight anybody anymore, you just control them with their currency? Because if you take away their money and they've got nothing to spend, are we going to that level? And that's the kind of things that I fear with CBDC. But now I fear even more, because the very people who are authorized to launch their CBDC are backing RLUSD. RLUSD and what's it called? XRP, for example, the whole XRP Foundation, right? Or whatever you want to call them. They're part of the WEF, right? World Economic Forum. They're part of the IMF, International Monetary Fund. I mean, when you have big corporations, big international banks like that backing a project like that, you got to wonder why, how, and who's funding it. Do you know what I mean? So to me, started to question certain things. Of course, we're innovating. I'm all for innovation, and I think, you know what, there's a great opportunity. Of course, it's inevitable, right? One of the most important things we've got to understand, guys, and please understand this, I'm not, as I said, I'm not against anybody, right? I'm not saying anything bad here. As innovation progresses, as we progress through the time, there's no stopping it. There's no stopping it. We are going to have some form of a digital currency. We're already doing it. The biggest test, right, was during 2020, right, when we basically had that situation and everybody just went cashless because cash was going to have bacteria on it. It was going to have the virus on it, right? So we became cashless. That kind of programmed us. It took us a very small amount of time to program us to start using less and less cash. And when we started seeing that, okay, that's enough, we don't really need cash because we can do the same thing on a tap, faster payment, whatever, you know, your Apple Pay, your Google Pay, whatever it is, Samsung Pay, God knows how many pays there are. When you realize that, you don't need cash anymore. So all of a sudden, we've been now disconnected from cash. Majority of people, right? I don't know the statistics, but I can say majority of people are disconnected from cash. Of course, there are 2 billion unbanked. That's a whole different story. I'm not even going there, right? And God knows if they're unbanked or not. That's a different story. We're not going there. Right, so Matthew is here. Awesome, nice to see you, Matthew. Desi track, just starting from the beginning. No, you can carry on because I haven't really gone to the meat of anything yet. Matthew D Hart says, I think that's their plan long term. So no, probably they are going to think of that long term, but I'm not here for what their plan is, right? I'm not here for that, Matthew. Believe me, I'm not right now. What I'm saying, I'm not being negative. Yesterday's live stream, I've had a right go effing and blinding everybody on a live stream regarding XRP and my views on XRP because of how I've been kind of some people have kind of come and said to me, oh, you're a hypocrite or you contradict yourself and whatnot, this and that, right? And I felt kind of bad, and someone says I was being disingenuous, right? So I really got annoyed. But anyway, it's over now. I'm not really angry about that. And at that point, I started effing and blinding. I said everything I had to talk about XRP, why I'm bullish and why I'm not, right? So, you know, why I hate the founders and why I hate the organization, but I still like the coin. I kind of explained that. And of course, it sounds contradictory, but it's not. I keep the coin and its holders, right? Holders as in all the community, separate to the founders and the institutional holders, right? So that was a different story. But today's video is like, look, guys, we got to wake up. We got to understand exactly what's going on, right? We have to understand what's going on, right? We're gonna Jeff Besk says BTC has the 5 biggest miners in China. Yeah, I will talk about that. Heza's here. Also nice to see you as well, Heza. So let's carry on with this, right? So the way I look at it, right? So the way I'm looking at this is, look, we're going to have it. It's inevitable. We're going to have some form of a digital currency. It's happening whether we want it or not. It's going to happen. The question is when we are now taking that same CBDC style of currency, right, and now giving that control, the total dominance to a handful of companies in the crypto, is that safe for us? That's the question I'm asking. Because remember, crypto is supposed to be decentralized. So if we can't do things in a decentralized manner, if we have to trust another party, isn't that the same as just being a bank? Those are the questions I'm asking, nothing more, right? Those are the questions I'm asking. So, you know, one of the things you have to understand, like, you know, like, as I said, like, so many things are happening. George Orwell talks about, right, how the Ministry of Truth, they rewrite the truth. The rewriting the history as we want, right? So certain things are being rewritten, right? I think the reason, Heza, you just mentioned Trump. Let's mention Trump, right? Trump, last season, Trump was bearish. He didn't like crypto. In fact, even before that, he's been asked about crypto many times for many years. He didn't like that, right? All of a sudden, history is being rewritten because next time people will say pro-crypto government. They're not going to think about whatever he said in the past. All of a sudden, he's now pro-crypto, and that's what's going to be written in the history. So the next generation or whoever's going to come here 4 or 5 years down the line, they're going to turn around and say, well, we had a pro-government, right? Because the history has been rewritten. And these are the things that I'm seeing that are actually coming to true. You know, God bless him, right? Whoever this guy is, may his soul rest in peace, right? But George Orwell, or as I said, Eric Arthur Blair, he had some sort of a vision and he wrote that down. And that's a statement. He left that there. And all of those things are coming. Like, we actually in the UK actually live in a big brother society. In China, it's a blatant big brother because they have the social credit system with actual cameras using 5G, 6G technology. You know, they're using like 6G technology and plus over there, right? And they're constantly monitoring people. And if you misbehave, if you litter, do whatever, you're in trouble. That's happening already. You know, in the UK, maybe because of other reasons, political reasons or whatnot, they haven't bought it completely yet, but it's coming. Because as I mentioned before as well, I think on another video or probably on Discord, I mentioned this, right? Where the CC, right now I'm being watched, but right now I'm on a little side street, quiet street, but I can tell you this, I'm being watched. they are watching every move if they want to, right? So they can follow you in. This is the truth. You can go and research it, Google it, right? If you enter London from that point onwards, right, inside London, they can track every move that you do, every move that you could do, right? So think about that. It's a big brother, right? It's a big brother. So those are the things that we have to. Anyway, it is what it is. Of course, if you're not doing anything wrong, what you got to worry about? It's fine, right? So for me, I live here. I don't really care, right? I'm not breaking any rules, so that's a different story. So that's what this is. I see Advanced Gaming here. Nice to see you, my brother. Nice to see you. So, or I am going to do some crypto stuff later, but let's continue with this, right? So when we start looking at what George Orwell has said, how the history is being rewritten, how there's complete control, even they're using children. They're using children to spy on their parents. Well, I'll tell you what, in the UK, there are like the government-backed companies sending children to local shops, right? Trading Standard Agency, sending children to the shops to buy tobacco and alcohol so they can shut down the shops. Can you imagine that? So hold on, he said that in a book. He wrote that in 1949, that they are sending children, right, to go and spy on people. And that's what happens. So hold on, how amazing. How did you know about that? Right. And that's actually happening right now. So these are the similarities. We see our government, Big Brother, watching us, our media controlling the narratives. We see that history being rewritten non-stop, right? So every time we see something is constantly changing. So we believe whatever is given to us, right? And then on top of that, children are also being used, right? And you get paid, a particular amount, and that's all being controlled. But of course, they don't have complete control because cash is still anonymous. Cash technically is still anonymous. Unless you go down and check the serial number, it is still anonymous. So they're trying to take that anonymity away from us and get us to a society where they can actually control us. And that's what I believe, right? So for me, the only thing I see, look, we have surveillance already. We have all of these surveillance, all of these things to keep us straight, of course, and there's no harm in that. If you're doing nothing wrong, that's fine, right? But we need to understand that, are we getting to that stage where we will be totally controlled, right? Because maybe we still have some freedom, even though we're not free. We think we are free, we're not free, right? We should all understand this. We are not free. And like-minded people like us, we come here and we talk about these things. But we're not free. So is the last bit of freedom that we have, right, which currently was blessed to us with crypto, right? BTC started it off. There was a few others before that, but BTC is the main one that started it off. That's the one everybody knows about. So that gave us that freedom. Crypto gave us that freedom to go and choose whoever, right? And pick whatever coins we want, make money, whether it pumps or not, do whatever we want to do. So that we had that freedom, but now that freedom is being taken away to the point some exchanges and XYZ limit how much you can withdraw per month, limit how much you can sell, right? This is crazy. How much you can buy with fiat. Your banks will say, oh, there's a limit. You can't send more than this much in 24 hours, right? So it's getting absolutely bonkers. It's like, what the hell is going on? So we are falling into this trap, right? This 1984 trap. We're falling into this. So I'm seeing so much similarities, right? That it doesn't make any sense. Of course, all we're giving. So when these projects come along and give us advertise, right? They say, oh, faster transaction, cheaper fees, and this and that, all of these blazing fast and whatnot, and this and that, right? But we already have that in crypto. Do we really need that? We're talking about there's plenty of blockchains coming out who are super ultra fast, right? But all of those are backed by institutions. All of them are backed by venture capital, right? That gets a bit concerning. It's like, hold on, you don't just back just for money. Of course, normally we think it's just about money. Yeah, they're going to make money along the way, but us through decentralization, through crypto, us whole small percentage, 5-6% of the planet, right? 7% of the planet. We are funding these guys to take over our life. How freaking crazy is that, right? And I've mentioned this on another video as well. BTC, they're buying so much BTC that actually they're taking control of it. Coming back to BTC mining, let's talk about this, right? So BTC has the 5 biggest miners in China. It makes me nervous about China, and ETH has 50% of ownership with the Chinese. Okay, let's talk about this. So Jeff, I'm going to talk about this, right? At one stage, yes, China was like the most dominant country out there with all of the miners. But you know, the recent, so not long ago, right, we actually had the Chinese government come and ban them. And it's happened before as well. Chinese government bans them and whatnot. But China, last one, they did a big one. They said, no, there's no more coal, no more energy. We're not going to do this. We want to do electricity only. And you guys can't use our surplus. So, you know, the Chinese government, they actually genuinely blocked them. During that time, most of those cryptocurrency companies went away from Chinese region, basically Chinese controlled region. They went away from there. Some of them went to Hong Kong. Some of the smaller ones went to Hong Kong and XYZ. And there was some drama regarding that. But a lot of them got funded and, you know, big investments to take the projects to USA. So yes, there are companies currently in Texas, in Dallas, and whatever, so many other places, right? I forgot all the names, right? But they've moved over to USA. They currently even have stocks and shares, right? Because they've had massive investments from large corporations. And that mining Chinese company is actually now operating from a whole different location, even though it is still a Chinese company. So please do understand this. The major powers out there have invested money to take the mining operation away from China. So China doesn't technically have the biggest miners out there because of all the rules and regulation with the Chinese government, CCP or whatever you want to call it. So that's a reality. And if you go back and see those headlines and see all of those news that came out during that time, you'll see we actually had a massive dump during that time as well. And we had some disruptions in the mining during that time as well. So it was chaos. People were uncertain at that time. So that's a real thing that happened because a lot of miners had to switch off and we had massive congestion. Some people didn't get their BTC transactions like normally every 10 minutes, right? They didn't have it for days, sometimes 24 hours, 48 hours. People didn't have it for days when this move was happening, right? So please, like, go and check that. So that's what's happened. Like when you're talking about Ethereum, no, Ethereum, China has its own version of Ethereum, which is called Neo. Right, they actually have a duplicate of Ethereum, which is called Neo. Yes, China owns majority of Neo, right? And funnily, Neo is now also planning, so like Ethereum and Polkadot, Neo is also planning to be part of this I forgot what it's called, something ledger, Overledger. It's called Overledger. So there's Overledger where about 10 to 12 companies are part of it, and you know, all the other companies that we mentioned like Ripple and XYZ, they're all there. Ethereum's joined it as well, Dot has joined it as well, but they haven't got the confirmation. Cardano's joined it as well, and Neo is also part of it as well. What a coincidence, right? Neo is also part of it, right? Now, when it comes to people holding, that's a different story, right? If the public is holding, that's a different story. We can't really argue who holds it or who not. That doesn't really make much of a difference to us. But when you're talking about institutions, then it's a big question. Why are institutions buying these particular things? Well, think about it. I just said the Overledger, those companies, like 10, 11, 12 companies, they're all part of that ecosystem. So if they're all part of this centralized stable coin or cryptocurrency organization or whatever you want to call it, they're part of it, right? They've signed up to be a part of it. Then clearly someone along the line knows, right? And they're buying the coins that are going to make most of the money. So earlier on today, I actually posted something on Discord and I said, buy all of these coins. No financial advice, but just buy all of these coins, because there was one reason, and I'm telling you right now as well, same thing. No financial advice, go and buy these coins. I can't give you the full list because it's on Discord, but go and buy those, because these are all now being centralized. These are under centralized control, and all of the big boys are buying them before we can, right? So we might as well, if you're still holding it, you're fine, you're doing okay. Some people who don't hold it, go and buy it now. And yeah, they're the ones that are going to survive, because what's happening now, so we have, this is like, let's just say phase one, right? So phase one is buy all the BTC, take control of the mining, get the stock shares, whatever, fund whatever you can. As long as you're funding it, it's under your control, right? So take control of that. Fine. Number two, start doing so phase two, start doing ETFs in some of the big projects, right? Bitcoin, do that first because that makes everybody else happy. Then do Ethereum, then do XRP, then do Solana, then do Cardano, whatever. Do all of those things one by one. Start dropping those ETFs, right? Because that's where institutions come in. Then you launch a stablecoin, which is controlled by a specific group of people, like some sort of a consortium, right? They control that. So do that, right? Which is fully regulated, fully backed. So that's the one you got to understand. Fully regulated and backed, right? Unlike USDT, not regulated, backed by some BS, but not regulated, right? So there's a difference, right? Anyway, so you have that. That's like phase three, right? So phase four, right? Phase four, you come to this, right? All of a sudden, guess what phase four is going to be? The exchanges are not going to be allowed to list all the coins. Phase 4. Phase 5, and I'm kind of making a prediction here. Phase 5, right? They're going to come to the point where decentralized exchanges aren't going to be allowed to list everything as well. So what that immediately does, right? So it doesn't even need to get to phase 6, right? All of a sudden, most of the cryptocurrencies, most of the shitcoins, 99% of the cryptocurrencies out there get wiped out. Get wiped out. Of course, we might have emerging markets. We might have independent exchanges and independent platforms where we can still go and trade them. That's fine. That's what us degens do, right? We go and buy shit coins and we hope they just pump, right? Because we can literally have nothing, actual dust in our pocket, right? And that dust could make us a lot of money because they do pump like that. But the same could also happen. We could dump like hundreds of thousands of dollars and it could become dust for us, right? So in reverse, the same thing, it happens because cryptocurrency is very risky because of the volatility that we have, right? That's the truth. So I will see all the chats, right, guys? I'm going to go through all the chats, right? So those are the things that I see. And obviously, one of the things that I fear the most is CBDC. What if it is like when we talk about China, what it becomes? What if China, the social credit system that they have, which they actually even now actually control your finances through that system, by the way, they control how much you can borrow, how much you can have, all sorts of other stuff, right? Where you can travel, they actually control if you can travel or not, what you can buy, what you can't, right? What home you can buy, so many different things. They control that. So what if that was just a test? Or what if that's what our governments liked and now they're adopting that? We don't know. You know what I mean? We don't know. Remember what I said. George Orwell said there's Oceania, there's Eurasia, and there's East Asia. Right? They fight amongst themselves, but they also they also cooperate with themselves as well. That's what his book says, right? They also cooperate with themselves. They also have the same totalitarian system. Sorry, I get a tongue twisted whenever I say that word. But they have that system, right? That means they're pretty much operating the exact same way. Same misinformation, manipulation, brainwashing, whatnot, changing everything, changing the rules and laws, because that's how they can keep control of everybody. That's what they just want, power. They just want to stay in power. It's all about staying in power. It's not about the money, because they don't give a money. They can print the money. They don't care about the money, right? They don't need that. It's only power. They just power hungry. They just want power. Right? So that's what it is. And so are we going to become that? That's what I'm worried about. And before CBDCs, we have a real USD, right? Real USD. Of course, we've had USDC already. So technically it's the same thing, right? But now we've had this massive hyped thing coming. And they've just announced RLGBP, by the way, and RLJPY is coming as well. So, and RLCNY is on the pipeline as well. So hold on, China, hold on, we're going to have a actual RL Chinese currency as well. And the way they're going to work is it's going to be like a basket currency. That kind of rings a bell to me. It's like, hold on, isn't that what the BRICS did? The BRICS pay, isn't that what that is? Isn't that Project Enbridge? Hold on, all of a sudden, Project Enbridge? Hold on, wasn't Bank of International Settlements part of that? Hold on, where is Bank of International Settlements located? Right. You know what I mean? Because I ask questions, guys. So when I start looking, I'm like World Bank, International Monetary Fund, Bank of International Settlements, Project Enbridge, right? All of a sudden we've got the BRICS, right? And the BRICS create something. And funny thing is, BRICS is actually doing it on the blockchain as well. And now we have RLUSD approved to go on the blockchain. What the hell is going on? Backed by 55 countries. 55 countries. God knows how many banks in there. That's what you're gonna. So am I bullish? I'm freaking bullish, but I'll tell you about what, right? So this is gonna blow your mind off, right? Of course, it sounds very negative what I'm saying, but all I'm saying, guys, this is the dystopian life we're heading towards, and it's inevitable. We are gonna get there. We are gonna get there, right? The only way you're gonna protect yourself if you invest into other stuff right now. And when I'm talking about land, and I'm talking about land and whatnot, and this and that, physical properties. If you're gonna do that, that's the only way you're gonna protect yourself. Because if you're gonna make mistakes, we might end up there where we will be striked out, right? We could have $1 million in our bank, but we'll have no way of cashing it out because somebody's decided he can't cash it out. That's where we're getting to. So if you can't cash it out, there's no point keeping it. So invest it wherever you can and do that. So anyway, let's move into another one, because that's what's happening. Money is now being weaponized. Money. You don't need bombs, missiles, assassins. What money is being weaponized. Money. Think about that. I don't know if any one of you thought of it that way. When your governments and when your banks take control over the money, that's a weapon against you. Your income becomes a weapon against you. Fall in line, son. Fall in line, and then you're fine. Don't fall in line. Watch what we do to you. We don't need to go and do anything to you. We don't need to harm you, and that's how we're going to harm you. We're going to starve you to death. That's where we're getting. So crazy stuff, right? So let's read through. So Heza says Trump says he wants Bitcoin reserve price boom incoming. Let's hope so. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Advanced Gaming says yes, true. Desi Track says because of similar conspiracies, I never bought BTC in 2010, 2011. I don't want to be part of it, knowing the powers to be would use it against the people. 100%, right? And I'll talk about some coins that I will possibly be looking into, and I have already been doing. I have mentioned on other videos as well. But this is the reality we're getting to. But you see, the thing is it's not crypto. So what you have to understand, it's not crypto. Right? It's not XRP, it's not Ethereum, it's not BTC, it's none of those. Any coin that majority is held. So what you have to understand, if we own more than 51%, 60%, whatever, 50, let's say 51%, right, of that particular supply. So we hodl that and whatnot, we trade, buy and sell. We're fine, by the way. They actually don't have control over that. Right? They might dump, they might crash the price, but yeah, we're hodlers. We buy and we do whatever. That doesn't impact the market. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fiat gateway. The fiat gateway, because what is it that one thing we do every cycle, right? We buy crypto with what? Do you buy with your GBP? Actually, you don't, because we're actually buying it with USDT or something. I don't know who that is. Anyway, I'm on a live, man. Sorry, I don't know what the guy wants to talk about. Anyway, I don't know, maybe I know who. Oh shit, so sorry, it's someone I know, basically. Someone I know. He stopped and he was waving at me. I was like, I don't know who you are, mate. So anyway, I know him. Yeah, he knows me anyway. So the point is look, we when we buy or sell, we have to convert, right? We have to convert into something, right? Even when you buy GBP, let's just say GBP USD, right? You bought it with USD. Exchange has sold you a Bitcoin with USD, or sold you a Bitcoin with GBP, or any currency in your world. Fine, we agree with that. Or we buy with USDT or USDC. Again, we agree with that. That's what we buy. But now, if the GBP is CBDC and the USDC, the crypto version, is RLUSD or similar, I'm not specifically picking on one, so don't take me the wrong way. If it becomes something very similar, which is controlled one-to-one backed with a physical dollar, right, by the central banks, isn't it the same thing? But now if they decide that, Sham, you can't cash out, mate. You've bought that, thank you very much. We're going to seize that off you. You can't cash out because you spat on the floor the other day, or you smoked something and you chucked it on the floor the other day, or you walked on the wrong side of the road, right, on the footpath. It could be something as silly as that, right? I'm worried about that. So crypto is not what Desi. I'm not worried about the crypto. Crypto's crypto, right? Most genuine cryptocurrencies are still going to be cryptocurrencies. Yes, we do have many that call themselves, disguise themselves as cryptocurrencies, but they are not cryptocurrencies. They are absolutely centralized garbage, right? They are completely centralized scams. That's a whole different story. I'm not going to give you a list of names because there is a freaking list of names, right? And the best way to identify them is if you go and see who's been investing in them, and then you realize most of them are not just VC funding and this and that. There are other investments, because it's like a chain. Sometimes you don't know the big boys have invested through other companies, right? That's where it is, right? And that's what worries me. So I'm worried about the fiat part, right? Because when it goes up, I need to sell, right? I need to sell so I can sit there, I can buy the dip, and I can accumulate more. We're getting to a point where that might not be the case anymore. That's what I'm worried about. Do you know what I mean? So crypto is going to stay. If you own a BTC, it's still going to be BTC, right? Until someone comes up with a solution where we can actually have a complete decentralized, disconnected from the banks, free money, free economy, where we can actually go and, convert it into that particular stable currency, whatever it is, doesn't matter. It could be called nuggets. I don't care, right? So someone converts it to nuggets. Fine, it's not GBP, it's not USD, and then when the market dumps, you buy it with the nuggets, and then you're back to the moon again, right? Or you get your gold, right? We need something like this. So I'm saying there is a space here. I think the crypto community needs to come together. The actual crypto community, not the ones that are undercover, right? Not the centralized ones, need to come together and say, look, guys, let's create a currency similar to BRICS, like whatever, right? I'm not in favor of anybody anyway. But we need to create something where the decentralized people, can actually use that in a decentralized way, which has no control by the centralized government, because that's what's happening right now. And I'm afraid of that. And I understand a lot of the companies joining. I understand, look, if you don't come and join dystopian, right, Big Brother, if you don't join Big Brother, or if you don't join our totalitarian system, then you're out. Because when we start going into phase 6, you're going to be part of phase 6. So you're on board or you're not. That's what's happening. 1984 is happening right in front of our eyes. How freaking crazy is that? Right? How freaking crazy is that? It's unbelievable, man. So that's what I see, my brother. Advanced Gaming says the New World Order is coming. My brother, the New World Order has been already in motion. New World Order has been in motion since World War II. Actually, since World War II. The New World Order has been in motion since then. Since the first atomic bombs were dropped. KR, nice to see you, my brother. Bubble, nice to see you, my brother. Since those bombs were already dropped, many countries and many nations and many leaders, I don't like political stuff, but let me just drop this to you, right? They feared, what if they are next? That already started. So obviously, when two superpowers, we had the Cold War, right? Which is, two superpowers with the same level of nukes, same level of technology, saying, look, you blow me, I'll blow you up, right? And we had that complete standoff. It's already started there. And that is still going on. So the New World Order was already in motion. Okay, it was already in motion. If you go back and look at some of the statements, some of the presidents in the USA have talked about, even our, like in the UK, when I'm saying our, I'm saying UK, because a lot of people look at me like I'm always a Desi boy, right? Yeah, I'm a Desi boy, right? I'm a Desi boy, but I'm a British at the end of the day, right? I'm from UK, so this is my country, right? Whether you like it or not, right? Just because I don't have a white skin and I'm not a white guy, doesn't mean it's not my country. As far as I'm concerned, this is my country, whether you like it or not. So tough luck to you, right? So this is my country. When I say our, even our prime ministers who have been voted to go in there, right? They have at some stages mentioned a new world order or a great reset. We need a new world order. We need a new way of doing things. We need a new government. They've mentioned it in many words, right? In many, many different words, they've mentioned it. So that's already been here. There was one president who said something, and that's the only thing that actually made sense to me. And actually, in the autobiography of one of von Braun, right? So he's not an angel, but one of von Braun, in his autobiography, he actually also said something as well. He said the only time all of humanity would come together is if we had an alien threat. Right, and there was one president who actually said the same thing as well. I can't remember whether it was Kennedy or Eisenhower. I can't remember. He said the same thing as well. He said, "Look, the only way we will all come together and forget our differences, right, and forget about the new world order, right, and is actually if we had an alien threat, we would actually come together and actually finally stop this power-hungry, power-grabbing." Because that's what it is. It's just power. It's just absolute power. There are people out there who want absolute power. We don't even know who they are. Like George Orwell said, like, look, we don't even know if that person actually exists. If Big Brother, if anyone exists or not. There's just some guy's face there. Nothing else. Right? And Brett, I'm coming there. Brett Jackson, I'm coming there, brother. Because I was about to come there, man. I was about to come there. So Brett Jackson, okay, he's already said it. So let me say this, right? So obviously, I've mentioned many times, right? Project Bluebeam, yes. So I've mentioned many times regarding how, to this date, Monero is still decentralized. Monero is still decentralized. Yes, it's hated, right? Yes, it's being used on the dark web or whatever people want to say, doesn't matter. But it is still one of those ones. It's one of those ones I don't talk about. I don't promote. I don't shill. Every time someone's mentioned Monero to me or I've mentioned it, I said, just buy and hold. Don't look at it. Just buy. It doesn't matter how much it costs. Even if it's $1,000 today, you buy it and you just put it back because that's going to save you one day. Even if it's $20,000, you buy and you just leave one, right? If that's what you can afford. But buy as many Monero and just leave it. Right, every season when you make $100 into $1,000 or maybe $100 into $200, take 50 of that, chuck it into a Monero and just leave it on the side. That is a safety. That's a backup. That's a backup. Now Monero, obviously they haven't evolved, right, and I think they should start evolving because we are going to get to a stage where we can start evolving. If we can, then I think Monero has many use cases, many use cases, right? So yeah, Project Bluebeam. Okay, I can talk about Project Bluebeam, but if we start talking about Project Bluebeam, there's a few YouTubers, really good YouTube channels that I watch, right? And there's a good one I will recommend to you guys if you like, he talks about a lot of stuff, Wi-Files. I really like this guy, right? So on Wi-Files, he spoke about Bluebeam. His video got a strike and got taken down. So then he had to actually put it on Spotify. So I that particular thing on of his the video he did, I had to go and listen to it on Spotify because YouTube won't allow it. So when you go too deep into it, they don't like it. So it is what it is. Chimeka says and it's freedom we want. Of course, we want freedom, right? There are, look, our government's coming in, better or worse, right? Better or worse. Most of the people vote for them, regardless whether they're selected or elected, right? Doesn't matter, right? We know they're not really there for us, they're for everybody else. But there are some rules and regulations that are good for us, right? So when we have certain rules and regulations, we know it's not the wild, wild west. We're not having to discover things, right? There's no, there's law, right? You need law and order. Ultimately, listen, it doesn't matter what society you're from, right? Freedom has to have law and order as well. So you should be free to say what you want, think what you want, speak how you want, right? Like myself, I can express myself here. I have the sovereign right as a human being to do all of these things, right? So that's my right. But I don't have the right to go and now break the law, right? So if there's no law and order, that's wrong. I shouldn't be doing those kind of things. You know what I mean? So, there's no hate, none of that business. Like the other day, I spoke about some religion stuff and this and that, and I was trying to tell people to, look, guys, let's be peaceful, end of the day, because ultimately we are all the same. And I know some people didn't like it, but it is what it is. I'm not really bothered about that. So that's what it is. Brett Jackson says, I've done that, brother. What, you've done what? Yes, Monero is private BTC. We've talked about it many times before as well. But yeah, regardless, listen, Blue Beam, my beam, your beam, every beam, we should have a coin called Blue Beam. Actually, that would be right cool. But point is look, regardless what the conspiracies are, these are the things that, as a fact, we have to understand. We are moving towards a dystopian future if we already are not in it. And I believe we are already in it. We just don't see it, right? And we are already very digital. Now, the last sovereignty, the last freedom we actually have is our finances, our income. We are still able to, regardless how much you earn and how much taxes you pay, whatever's remaining after that, you're still free to spend that where you want, right? We have that freedom, isn't it? But now that's even going to be controlled by us. So just understand that. And all I'm going to say, plan for that. Plan for that. Because if you don't plan for that, we've got some serious issues. We've got some absolutely serious issues, because we're going into a society where we're going to get stuck. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my chart open so I can talk about the charts as well. Yes, Monero is a coin. It's a ticker XMR. If you type the 3 letters XMR, it's a thing. So type XMR. It is a coin. So I think Chimera and Brett are just talking amongst themselves. Yes, Monero is a coin. It is basically exactly like BDC, but it has a function where you can keep yourself anonymous if you want. So you can own it anonymously, not an issue. You can transfer anonymously as well. There is a function, not by default, but there's an option you can actually turn on and do it. The wallet and everything looks kind of outdated, but don't be misled by that. That's the best thing about it, right? It's as original as it gets, right? And it's as private as it gets. So stick to that. Don't worry about the exchanges. Buy Monero from wherever you can. Get Monero and just stick to it, because it's one of those, as I said, if you made $100 profit, put $50 into Monero, because that's a rainy day one. And that thing's going to pop. When it's going to pop, it's going to pop. Because when everyone realizes how centralized everything's becoming, right? How controlling everything is, right? The only one they know that is not controlled is Monero. And if all the governments come along and buy Monero, great, we just make a shit ton of money. So Chimeka says contract address. No, Monero, there's no contract address. Go to CoinMarketCap, type in either Monero or XMR. XMR, right? So just type those 3 letters and you get it. That's what Monero is. It's one of the oldest coins out there. Similar to it came out during the similar time as XRP actually. So have a look at that. It is a good coin. It doesn't pump that hard. I mean, it follows the market, right? It follows the market, and it is being used a lot in the deep web, dark web, whatever you want to call it. It is being used there, but it is just what it is. So end of the day, we don't need to look at that, right? It is what it is. So that's a different story. Anyway, let's talk about the market today, right? So I'm not going to be here too long. Let's talk about the market today. So total market cap currently sitting at $3.54 trillion. $3.54 trillion. BTC sitting right now at 102, which is actually good. It's not a bad thing, but I do fear that the dominance is too high. Again, BTC just doesn't want to do a correction, and I'm right now I'm very fearful that if we don't have a correction right now, it's going to be a lot bigger and a lot more devastating when it gets higher, and if we have a correction, right? So imagine this, right? If we have a 20% correction right now from 100 just say 100K, right? If we have a 20% correction, we lose $20,000, but $20,000 over 19 point something million coins, do the maths, that's how much money is going to show up as if it's down, because every coin is going to reflect the same price, right? So it's going to show that's how much we bled out, right, in the total market cap. Now imagine we do the same thing when we go to 150K, right? 20% of 150K is like 30K, right? So imagine multiply that by the number of coins that are already in the market, and that's how much it's going to show. So the numbers are going to reflect higher, right? Which will cause more panic in the people. So we'd rather have a correction right now at these lower levels, right? Do a 15-20% correction, right? Get down there, do whatever we need to do, and then rinse and repeat, and then move forward. That's what we need to see. So that's what I'm feeling right now. Obviously, some of the alts have recovered back a little bit because of the current movement in the market during this weekend, especially. But they're gone back to their previous weekly support zones. Some of them have gone above, most of them haven't even gone above. So we are at risk with the altcoins, right? And BTC being high is going to be really bad. So let's see what happens. Of course, looking at the BTC, looking at XRP and a few other coins, right? Specifically looking at those coins, the structure looks good. So they look like they want to pump, right? So yeah, we could be seeing a nice little pump next week. By Wednesday, we could start seeing a nice move up. But again, as I said, going up is fine, but I still fear we might get a correction, right? And we need a correction. We need a correction for us to prolong this market, for us to move forward in this market. We need a correction ASAP. ASAP, we need a correction. Do you know what I mean? All right. So obviously, we're just going to talk about the market now, right? But yeah, that's what I'm seeing. So guys, at this present moment, I am a bit concerned. All right. I am a bit concerned because BTC, as I told you, as much as I love BTC, as much as I respect BTC for being what it is, it wasn't sold. People were mining it and getting it for almost completely free, as long as you use your resources. And people were using, back in 2009, right, they were using really crappy laptops to mine it. Imagine they were getting 50 Bitcoin. So imagine that, right? People mined thousands of Bitcoin, so no one had to buy it. It was only later on that people started buying and selling amongst themselves. That's a whole different story. And that's when the trading started. So it is as decentralized as it gets. Right. So, but right now it is standing as a very dangerous coin for everything else, because if it bleeds, it will take everything out with it, and we don't want that. But good thing is look, when we look at the institutions, there is loads of positivity. When we look at the institutions, we see how they're coming in. Also, I want to talk about one other thing as well. And I almost forgot, right? So with this RLUSD and XRP, I want to give you something that is going to be quite crazy. So a lot of the stocks and bonds and shares, not bonds, maybe not government bonds, but say stocks and shares, there is a future. I'm just going to say this, and it's coming. There is a future where there's approximately around $40 trillion coming into the blockchains. That's the positive thing. But it's not necessarily that it's going to pump any coin, but we know they're coming, because what they're trying to do in the future, they're trying to tokenize all the stocks and everything. So everything's going to be tokenized, right? They're going to tokenize everything. Your house, your deed for your house, tokenized, right? Your marriage, tokenized. They're going to tokenize everything, right? So everything's going to be on the blockchain. That's what the future is. So we got CBDC coming, which is surveillance on you, on your financial surveillance, right, on you, right? And then we've got the crypto one as well. So that's coming as well. And then after that, we've got everything going to be tokenized. So when it gets tokenized, then yeah, it's going to be easier. Of course, it's going to be easier, cheaper, whatever. Doesn't matter. That's not the point, right? But that's where we're going. So that means we know, right? Already there's been some predictions, some calls, and I'm not holding to any of those. That's not my prediction, but there's a few analysts out there who are talking about it, where there's about $40 trillion of assets are going to be tokenized. Does it pump us? I don't know, but I think we're going to get a good hype because of that. That could push us to some high level. So yes, there's some plus points there, right? All I'm saying is it's going to be people's psychology that's going to actually make money for people. And if people have positioned themselves in the right place at the right time, right, yeah, they could make a shit ton of money, right? So we just got to find out who's going to be tokenizing them, which blockchains, right? So keep an eye on those things. That's all I'm going to say. There are a bunch of coins out there who are kind of positioned in the right place right now. HBAR, XLM, XRP, who's the other one? Avalanche. Who's the other one? Oh, there's so many. XDC. Who's the other one? I'm just trying to remember them, right? As I mentioned, BNB is kind of already positioned as well. Ethereum is positioned as well. So there's a lot of these cryptocurrency projects that are positioned themselves to be that supplier of those tokenization, right? So there's a good opportunity for them. So let's see what they do, right? By the way, guys, if you're here for the first time, my name is Sham. This is Urix File. The truth is always out there, as I always say, right? Stay safe, stay protected. That's the most important thing. That's all I promote. I don't really promote much else. And other than sometimes I might lose myself because I'm actually trying to do something quite unique here, right? So when I'm here, I'm actually quite passionate. I don't know if you noticed this, guys, right? Most of you guys who have watched probably noticed. I'm very passionate about crypto. I'm very passionate about decentralization. I'm very passionate about freedom, right? And not for I'm passionate. Obviously, I'm passionate, so it's for myself as well. But I'm also passionate about other people as well, right? And I'm quite empathetical towards people's losses and all sorts, right? So when I hear certain things and how people have suffered and whatnot, I feel kind of bad, right? I feel sorry, and most of the time I'm like helpless. I can't do nothing to you, right? So, and I have because I have my own problems. My problems I can't even solve them. How am I going to solve your problem? So, but I feel for people. That's the most important thing, and I'm very passionate about what I talk about. And like my whole intention on these videos, like when I come on a live, right, without a script, I do have some notes, by the way. So sometimes I do keep a note because it depends on how my mind is working. But I come here with the intention to just open your eyes. Whether you buy, you sell, you trust something or untrust something, it doesn't matter, right? I'm not here just giving you information. I'm not here just trying to entertain you. I'm not here trying to get the views, guys. I'm not here trying to get the clicks. None of that business. I'm not even like, share, subscribe. That's the only thing I'm going to say. I'm not even going to mention what the goals are. It's fine, right? If you like this kind of content, you do it. If you don't, by all means, it's okay, right? But my intention is so just to kind of give you the information. You do whatever you want. I always say on my videos, I say, look, it's your money, no financial advice. Go and burn it, do whatever. It's up to you, right? So that's how I'm leaving it. But the truth is, look, the way I look at it is there is this book. Coincidentally, there's a book that exists since 1949, and it was titled 1984, right? But how true a lot of those are right now, and especially some of the things that it was picking up on, how the segregation of certain states, like how there's 3 states, and actually we do see that. We see East, we see West, and we see Middle East, right? Which is freaking weird, right? We see that, and there are separations. And also we see a lot of manipulation and fake news and whatnot, how news corporations are literally pumping out whatever narratives they want, and they sometimes fight amongst themselves because they can't agree, right? So we see that. It's freaking hilarious, which is why I don't watch them anymore. So you get all of those things, and a lot of independent news corporations and a lot of independent journalists are coming out and trying to do something better, actually give you the true story, and I respect that, right? Hats off to all of them, right? So that's where we're going now, right? But in a society where we're going to have this inevitable, we're going to end up having digital currencies regardless whether you like it or not, right? There is not going to be paper. They're going to find some sort of an excuse. There's not going to be paper anymore. When it comes, we are going to adopt it. But when it does come, and if they have those kind of surveillance things, of course, if you're not doing anything wrong, you're fine, right? But what is wrong? That's the question. Remember, I said you could be walking on the wrong side of the footpath. That might be wrong, considered wrong. You might be going on an elevator and not giving way to somebody. That could be wrong, right? It could be absolutely anything. Do you know what I mean? Anything, right? I'll give you a good example. A real truth recent happened to me, right? So about a month ago, I was driving down a particular road, and on that road, I did a left turn and a right turn. So it's like it's like a S shape, right? So you do a left and then immediately you do a right to go wherever. Now, apparently where I did the left, just on the bottom of that road, there was a temporary traffic light, right? And on that traffic light, obviously it's a temporary traffic light. It's not even a fixed traffic light, temporary traffic light. I'm supposed to stop. So I wasn't supposed to turn right. So I've argued with so this is from the police, by the way, in the UK, from the police. So I sent them an argument. I said, look, guys, you're telling me that this thing is like 20, 30 meters. I know there's a camera 20, 30 meters away, but it didn't say anything about me not turning right. So I'm not even in the traffic. Oh, you can't break away. And now they're saying, oh, we're going to fine you. We're going to give you some points on your license, or you're going to have to come and do X, Y, Z and pay us X, Y, Z. I'm thinking, seriously? First of all, it's not clear that I'm not allowed to do the right. If there was a sign saying I can't do the right, then fine. But that road was clear. So why can't I turn right? It's pathetic, right? But I'm getting punished for that. So it is what it is. What can you do? Brett Jackson says they'll use it as a way to limit choice and food in food in the form of carbon credits. It's coming regardless. Carbon credits they're already using. Food, I see something else for food. Because I'm seeing this crazy push, right? Crazy push to get people. Like, I don't know if you noticed, right? You know, all these adverts for health and this and that. They're actually trying to get to the level where they're trying to get people to get off meat and whatnot, right? With all the health benefits and whatnot. They're trying to promote that. And I think we're going to get to a stage where maybe, I don't know, maybe in 100 years, right? Not now, but maybe in 100, we're going to be having some sort of a tablet, right? Some sort of a pellet, right? That's what we're going to be having, cow food, literally, right? Or horse food. That's what they're going to feed us, right? We're going to get to that stage. Of course, we probably won't be alive to see that, but I think we're going to get to that level where everything, farming, everything is going to be controlled by whoever's in power. Because remember, they don't care about money. A lot of people think it's money, oil, wealth, this, that. No, guys, they don't care about any of it. It's just power. They just want power. So the only thing they want is power. So whoever they are, by the way, and I'm not talking about individual countries or independent countries. No, they're everywhere. Most people will turn around and there's a conspiracy. Oh, it could be these people. It could be that. No, they're everywhere. Believe me, they are everywhere. Right. So when we talk about shadow governments or people behind the shade, it could be anyone. So, but when we get to total power, they're going to be feeding us what they feed our cattle right now. They're going to be feeding that to us. That's what we're going to be. We're going to, because we're just a bunch of sheep and cows, right? That's what we're going to be. So that's what's going to happen. Yeah, we are not going to have choices. Definitely, we're going to be limited to the choice. Because even though our democracies we're mostly capitalist, right? Actually, I don't see capitalism. Because all I see is just basically more communism than anything else. We're going to get to a point where they probably even decide what we wear. You know, what color you belong to, right? What clothes you wear. Do you know what I mean? We'll probably get there. And there are so many dystopian shows and books and everything, comics and whatnot. When you look at it, you start realizing that, hold on, a lot of these things are actually looking more and more real. You know what I mean? They're looking more and more real. So that gets kind of crazy. Do you know what I mean? So it's a bit worrying, honestly, to be honest, it's a bit worrying. But I'm just hoping it doesn't happen in my lifetime, right? And if it does happen in my lifetime, then I have to make preparations, right? Whatever my preparations are, my prepper, like become a prepper or my bug out bag or whatever, I have to have some sort of a plan, a backup plan, right? So think about it like this video, if you have watched it to the end, right? Hopefully you have a plan now. Yes, it's coming. We accept it. I'm not saying it's going to happen, guys. So we accept it. If it comes, it comes. What I'm going to do? There's nothing I can do about it. But if I want to stay decentralized, if I want to have some sort of a safeguard in place, just in case I walk down the wrong side of the path, right? Then, yeah, I need to have a backup. And that backup can only be done now, right? And especially during a bull market, because that's when we make the most amount of money. So that's all I have to say. Right, that's all I have to say. So other than that, all I'm going to say, guys, look, be vigilant, right? Understand that, look, there is a reality out there that sometimes we step out of just because we're excited, our emotions are excited, our dopamine levels are really high, so all of those things, we forget the reality. And it's not just the reality that you see in front of you, it's the reality that there's other things happening that you're not even noticing. And sometimes we have to notice these things. If it's something that is not is inevitable, it's going to happen, fine, we accept it, but we also have the choice to plan for it. And I think a lot of wise people would sit down and actually start thinking about, okay, what we need to do. Okay, hold on, maybe this guy's right, maybe he's wrong, maybe he's just a complete freak, he's a complete idiot, complete maniac, complete conspiracy theorist, thinks whatever he does, right? And he thinks he's right. I'm not right, I'm not wrong, I'm not saying any of those things. I'm just trying to say, look, this is what's happening. This is a book. If you haven't read it, there's no link. So if you guys think I'm trying to share you a link down here for George Orwell's book so I can get some, no, guys, there's no book. 1984, George Orwell. His name is Eric Arthur Blair. Go and search it. Go and buy his book. Go and free audiobooks. By the way, you can go on Internet Archive, free PDF available, right? You search it on YouTube. There are plenty of people with audiobooks free. So please take your time and listen to it, and then connect the dots and say, hold on, isn't that exactly what's happening right now? And actually, there are so many other YouTubers who's done great summaries of what it is. So maybe you don't have the time, you don't have the 10 hours it takes to read this, but you can just go and summarize it within 30 minutes. But you'll get most of the people are on point, and this is what the reality is. And when I started connecting it to how our society is right now, that freaks me out. It's like, oh shit, that's very similar. right? And this is me like 10 years ago. It's like, oh, this is very similar. And then as we progress and as technology progresses as well, we've come to CBDC and all of these conversations are happening. I started connecting more and more, more and more. And then recently, when RLUSD became a big thing, I connected and I was like, hold on, isn't this the same thing? And it just freaked me out. And as I said, I haven't got anything against RLUSD. So those of you guys who are hating me for XRP and whatnot because of yesterday's video, good luck. I don't care. But I'm not hating on anything. I'm just saying, look, open your eyes. Look, this is what's happening. But if that happens in the crypto sphere, isn't that the same thing that could happen in the fiat? So in the fiat, they could block our fiat money, banks and this and that, seize it, whatever they want to do. They can do all of those, and they have complete power over our finances, right? If we don't have cash anymore. Now in crypto, if we don't have a stable currency that is not controlled by the central banks, isn't that exactly the same thing? That's what really worries me. So honestly. So guys, if you have any other questions, let me know. Brett Jackson says I enjoyed your chat. Anytime, my brother. I'm here, and you listen. You'll only get the real stuff here. So like if you go, no joke, if you watch yesterday's video, you'll see me shouting, effing, and blinding, screaming at people. You see me. I don't have a problem. And I think I'm not sure if the person still subscribed to me. I think the person left because probably I offended them. But yeah, I'm one of those. I don't hold my emotions back. It is genuine as it gets. Whatever I'm saying to you is complete from my genuineness, right? Yes, I have some notes that I took because I can't remember some of the dates. I'm really bad with names. A lot of people know this. Like, for example, I had to practice Brad Garlinghouse because I knew his last name, but I didn't know his first name. And I kept on saying Garlinghouse, something Garlinghouse. I don't even remember his name. So I'm very bad like this. I'm very bad with names. So sometimes you got to remember these things, dates and all sorts of other stuff. Like, for example, Oceania, who remembers that kind of stuff, right? Even though I've read the book, I've got 2 copies of it. I've got a paperback and a hardback. Got that. I also listen to the audiobook every now and then and the summaries every now and then. So it's just one of those things I keep on coming back for. There's 3 things I always come back to. George Orwell, I come back every now and then. Star Trek, I go through the entire Star Trek, the series, right? Every last one of them, including the movies as well sometimes, but mostly the series. And the other one I do, all the movies I do, Star Wars, right? So those are the things that I actually like looking into. Actually, I could add June to it as well, but June it gets a bit complicated, but I do like June as well. So it is what it is. So if you guys have any other questions, let me know. If not, right, and we just carry on talking. I don't have a problem. If not, then I'm going to shoot. Today I don't have a water bottle with me, so if we're not going to talk about anything else, then we're going to shoot. But I do want you guys, I hope like you guys understand that, look guys, our freedom is being attacked. Our freedom is being attacked through regulation and centralization. And if we don't do something, I mean, we might not be able to stop them, but we might not. But if we don't do something for ourselves and we don't have a plan, we're going to be lost. We're going to be lost. Because I know many people are going to make so much money this season. They have already made so much money from very little investments. Okay, some people have made large investments. They've made larger amounts of money. But if this thing is activated, then a lot of these people won't be able to cash out. And they haven't done anything wrong. They're, complete good people of society, earning good wages. They have good income. Some of these guys are earning 150 grand a year. Like in the UK, they're earning 150,000 pounds a year, which is not on average Joe's income. Do you know what I mean? So they're earning good. They've invested that money, whatever they can, they've invested over many, many years. And we're going to get to a situation, maybe not now, maybe in 5 years' time, we don't know yet, but we're going to get to a situation where they won't be able to cash out because they're going to be like, oh, did you pay taxes on that? And did you spend that money? Did you send it somewhere? Because everything is going to be taxable event, right? You transfer, you convert, you buy, you sell the green, you buy the dip. Every action you do becomes a taxable event. So person unknowingly is like, look, I bought the dip, I'm buying more, I want to increase the funds. Of course, when I exit, I'll pay you your taxes, but I haven't exited yet. But no, you got to pay your taxes every year. It becomes a taxable event. So we're getting to that level where now they can actually see all of these events. And that's what worries me, because there's no harm. You go in and, you go in today, you didn't make money, no problem. Or you're making loads of money, but you never cashed out. And maybe you've done some taxable events, right? But you're not taking any cash out. So you're not spending on yourself, but you're increasing your portfolio. You're increasing your wealth. So you do this for 5 years down the line, right? You do this for 5 years. And then 5 years later, you put $100,000 that became $1 million. And I'm being really, really pessimistic here, right? I'm not even being optimistic. And you made $1 million. Well, of course, if you made $1 million, you come back, and you're going to cash it out now. You pay your taxes, which is not a problem, right? And you get to keep whatever it is that you keep. And that's the same way when they work in your the same way, for example, when you buy properties, you don't have to pay taxes every year because of your property. So, for example, if you have a property, you increase the value of that property, and you continue to buy more and more property, you add value. You only pay whatever you take is from your income, right? You don't pay from the properties all the time. So unless you completely sell it, then you pay the capital gains, right? So this is a bit confusing with crypto, and unfortunately, we're getting to that stage where we're going to have absolute surveillance on us, depending what we use, basically. And we're probably going to have to pay. We're going to make mistakes that we're not even aware of. That's the best way. We're going to make mistakes that we're not even aware of, even though we're only trying to increase our wealth to the point where we have enough after we give you enough. Do you know what I mean? So Chimeka says, is XMR on which platform? If you go to Coin Market Cap, type XMR, so that is correct. Just type XMR, and then it will pop up with that coin XMR Monero. Click that and look at the markets, and every market that it's available on, you will see it there. So every exchange that is openly, like every publicly available exchange is there, XMR. You can go and find it there. I hope that helps, Chimeka. Okay, Coin Market Cap is your best friend. Go to Coin Market Cap, type XMR, and go to the section where it says markets. That's exactly where the markets are. All the pairs are there, and you can see where you can actually buy it. If you have one of those exchanges, great. If not, then just sign up for it. No one's selling you any sign up links here. Also, if you actually, there is a link. So if you go to my description, you will find there's a link for a particular exchange. In that particular exchange, you don't have to do KYC, provided you're not buying with fiat currency. So if you're not buying with fiat currency, you can use the link that's below the description right now. Go there, use that, right? I might get a little bit of a commission or whatnot, but that link, right, will open up. You can open an exchange in a few minutes, right? And you can actually buy XMR there as well, as that helps. So yeah, other than that guys, I don't know if there's any other questions. Thank you very much to all of you guys for coming to the show. Stay safe, stay free, think about your future, think about what you're going to do, have a plan, have a strategy. And of course, when we're buying, especially at these times, right, if you're buying anything, please do it with a stop loss. Protect yourself, protect your funds. That's all I'm saying. We're all excited. Listen, when BTC goes up, when some other coins go up, when XRP goes up, when Ethereum goes up, when Monero goes up, right, any coin, when it goes up, we're all excited. Come on, we're happy. A lot of us have been holding since higher prices, right? So when these things start to move, we're happy, we're excited. You know, I've got friends who have bought particular coins at higher prices than it is now. So as we're getting closer, they're getting more and more excited because they're going to be recovering, right? We're all excited. But it doesn't mean anything, right? If we're not going to protect those funds, and if we're not going to take profits. So, you know, ultimately you don't need to take profits, but as long as you have a stop loss, you're protecting yourself. That means if the market goes south, you will be exited out and you get to keep your money, you know, whatever money you've made. So that's all I'm saying, nothing else, right? Other than that, yeah, we're all going to celebrate what's happening. Or look at us, it's an achievement. We've went to $3.6 trillion, almost close to 3.7, right? That's an achievement. You know, BTC holding 100K, that's an achievement. Do you know what I mean? So we celebrate those things. Every achievement is a celebration for us, but we shouldn't forget that at the end of it, what goes up comes down, and we need to protect it when it comes down. So that's what I'm going to say. Other than that, guys, thank you very much. I don't see any other questions. I'm not going to carry on any longer. I appreciate all of you guys coming to the chat, especially and the conversations that we had. If you are new here, my name is Sham. This is your File. The truth is always out there. Subscribe or not, it doesn't matter. It's up to you. I'm not going to ask anybody, right? But I do hope you would hit that like button, because the like button does help the algorithm. If you like the content, maybe you can share it with other people. That's all I'm going to ask. Nothing more, guys. So other than that, let me catch you guys on another one very soon. Hopefully tomorrow with another subject, and then we'll just continue. Right, because I know yesterday's video I pissed off so many people because of what I said, and I recommend go and watch it, right? Because you'll see that absolute 100% my genuine thoughts and feelings regarding what the project is and everything. And I know it sounds bad, but if you understand where I'm coming from and the passion that I'm putting in, and the thing that I'm trying to tell everybody, it will make sense. Like today's video, many people aren't going to like it because it's talking about bad stuff, right? It's not giving you the dopamine that you want. But those people who are want to listen and understand, they'll understand this and they'll see, hold on, this guy's mentioning something. Maybe we should look into it. Be curious. That's all I'm saying. Nothing more. Other than that, adios, my amigos. I'll see you on another one very soon.